here we have some terms like the same emotion, some cases feelings or moods. They are the different stages of our feelings, moods, and emotions. But in emotional disturbances, there are some components. How the emotion, what are the components influences the first component is cognitive component. As we are aware of all those, one is cognitive component, affective component, and psychomotor component. In behavior, there are three important domains. We are all aware that we know that psychology is the study of behavior. In this behavior, first component is cognitive component. Second is the affective component. Third is the cognitive component or psychomotor component. So here also in the emotion components of emotion, one component is that is cognitive component. So the cognition means understanding, knowledge, analysis. So our thought process, as we know, cognition is the simple meaning of cognition is thought process. In one word, if you want to explain cognition, that is a thought process. Another meaning is that how you understand your environment, and how you adjust with the environment.
Which topic, sir?
So here in this case, cognition,
Hello, sir.
how you understand that it is emotion. Topic is emotion. It is unit emotion. Certainly. So here in the cognition, here in this cognition, how we perceive. Depends on that our emotion. That is the reason. Of emotion. As I mentioned, even in the behavioral science also, there are three behavioral aspects. There are three important domains. One is cognitive domain. Second is affective domain. Third is cognitive domain or psychomotor domain. In cognition, how we understand about one aspect, one person, one situation, any one topic. How we perceive the incident, how you perceive the situation. Based on that, our emotion. So the second component is affective component. But here in this emotion, the first component is cognitive component. Second is physiological component. Physiological component means, so emotions are accompanied by some psychological, or you can say physiological states, like central nervous system, CNS, then peripheral nervous system, PNS. Okay, so these are all related to the physiological. First one is cognitive component of emotion. Second is physiological component of emotion. Third is behavioral component. Behavioral component, how you behave, based on the cognition, based on your physiological aspects, depending on the physiological aspects, how you behave. What is your behavior? How the behavioral component. So this is a third component of emotion. I repeat, first component of emotion is cognitive component. Second one is physiological component. Third one is the behavioral component. For example, based on the environment, how you perceive that incident or environment, your physiological aspects, how you receive it, that is the second component. Based on the understanding, based on the perception, and depending on the physiological aspects, how your behavior, how our behavior, how the person's behavior. That is the third component. There are some characteristics of emotion. Characteristics of emotion is that emotions are accompanied by activation and arousal state. So as I mentioned, the term emotion is derived from Latin word emovere, which means state, arousal state. So here in the emotion, one important characteristic of emotion is it shows the individual's arousal state. Arousal state. Okay. Second one is that whenever an organism is experiencing emotion, a lot of energy is released. The second characteristics of emotion is release of energy. That energy may be the positive or negative, depends as well. But releases some sort of. Third one is some sort of bodily changes like gestures, muscular tightness, expressions, facial expressions. Of emotion. First characteristic of emotion is always the emotions activates some sort of arousal state in the organism or any individual. Second is that through the emotion, some sort of bodily changes like gestures, muscular tightness, facial expressions, changes in physiological, psychological reactions. This is the second. Third one is that emotion, a lot of energy is
released. Mr. Manohar, put it in a mute side. Hello.
Please mute yourself.
What one is that in the case of many emotions, it is found that other activities like perception, learning, consciousness, memories. Why these activities are affected means, for example, if you are in the emotional state, we may not be in a position to concentrate much on any aspect. Even the consciousness, memory also disturbs. These impact of emotions adversely impact on the learning process, memory and concentration. Even in the consciousness.
Excuse me, sir.
This is the fourth characteristic of. This is the fourth characteristic of emotion.
That disturbance happening. Can you put it mute mode? What is this, sir? Disturbance happening.
Cable.
Mr. Manohar, are you listening or not?
Okay. So emotions are common in all. It is universal aspect. Emotions are universal in all living organisms. Some emotions can be aroused by a number of different stimulus, objects, and situations. So all emotions can give birth to one of other similar situations. I repeat, there are some characters. First of all, emotion. Emotion, the term emotion is derived from the Latin word emovere, which means arousal state, stirred up state. The three components of emotion. First component is cognitive component. Second is the physiological component. Third is the behavioral component. The characteristics of emotions are like the first characteristic is always the emotions give some sort of changes in our physiological aspect, like the expressions, gestures, facial expressions. Okay. Second thing is that emotions are common in all living organisms. Third characteristic is that emotions give some sort of energy. Emotions impacts maybe adversely impact or the positive impact on learning process, memory, forgetting, consciousness, or even concentration also. Okay. Emotions are, it means different stimulus, objects, and situations. Emotions have the quality of displacement. For example, if energy reactions caused by some sort of displacement, we know that in personality also, maybe personality maybe in the second year, but in the personality there are some characteristics or some sort of defenses. In the defense mechanism, whatever the emotions, we will show in a different way. So the emotions, always we will show the emotions in a different way. So these are all the some emotional characteristics. Next one is, what are the basic emotions? The basic emotions, one is, there are some positive emotions, some are the negative emotions. Positive emotions are that happiness is the one sort of positive emotion. Then enjoyment. Okay, but negative emotions are more. Happiness is the that is positive emotion, whereas sadness, fearfulness, anger, disgust, surprise. These are all the negative emotions. Okay. So in negative emotions, what happens? The negative emotions are more adverse impact on the other aspects, like even like as I mentioned in learning process. For example, if you are emotionally in disturbed state, is it possible to concentrate more on any aspect? It's not possible. So the learning process will be adversely impact of this due to the emotional disturbances. Your communication. So we are not in a position, we may not be in a position to communicate properly when we are in the emotional disturbed state. Okay. So here the constructive functions of emotions are that biological functions, social functions, stimulatory functions, and creative and artistic functions. Okay. For example, our emotions are in the positive way. So if you are happy, if you are enjoyable, if you are in a position to express in a systematic way, so automatically creativeness or artistic activities will be improved if you are in a positive emotional state. So the communications also easily can communicate whatever we want to communicate, the sharing of your ideas, the expression of your opinion. So it is easily can communicate with the other human beings. So communication, creative and artistic activities will be improved if your emotions are in the positive way. Okay. So some sort of destructive functions also, or I can say destructive functions. So some sort of destructive functions are based on the negative emotions. Then how the development of emotion, why the emotions are developed, what is the reasons of the emotional development of emotions? Main reason is that your thought process is not up to the mark. If the thought process, your understanding capabilities, as I mentioned, first of all, first component of behavior is cognitive component. For example, if you are understanding on a particular aspect, if our understanding on a particular incident, if our understanding on a particular situation is positive, if you are having thorough understanding of any subject, if you have thorough understanding of any person, if we have any thorough understanding of, we have thorough understanding of any incident or situation, automatically that impact will be on the affective domain. That effect may be on the domain of effectiveness. In effective, what will be the other aspects of effective domain? Means one is emotion, second is attitude, third is the aptitude. These are all the some aspects in the affective domain. So if we have proper understanding of any incident and our perception of particular incident and our perception of any situation is in a systematic way, in a positive way, definitely that positive impact will be on our affective domain. In affective domain, one is attitude, then emotion. So if we have positive understanding or positive perception on any person or any incident or any situation or any environment, automatically this positive understanding, positive perception will be on the attitude. So based on the positive perception, based on the positive understanding, our attitude will be always in the positive side. So this positive understanding and positive attitude impacts on the behavior of any individual. For example, if you have proper understanding about the subject of psychology in the first year. What happens? You will enjoy the subject. If you have thorough understanding of any topic in the psychology of first year, definitely your attitude will be positive. So you will enjoy the subject. Enjoyment comes under the positive emotion. And if you don't have proper understanding about the assignment that what we are going to give, some of the students, some of the candidates in this first year PG cycle, they are so anxious related to the assignments, how to assignment to be written, how to write the assignments, how to submit the assignments. If you thoroughly understanding the topic, if you properly study the topic, whatever the topic is mentioned in the website, whatever the topic is given to you, instead of getting anxiety, if you thoroughly understand that subject, and if you thoroughly follow the instructions given in the website, so nothing to worry. You can easily write the assignments. Whatever the assignments you need to submit in a systematic, that also mentioned in the guidelines. Problem is that some few candidates, they are not in a position, they are not, maybe that their maybe busy schedules, they may not be in a position to allot time. That is the reason of their not understanding proper system of submitting the assignments. So this is the best example. Without proper understanding, what happens? The not understanding of the subject, not understanding of any event, not proper understanding of any person, that cognitive impacts or maybe adversely impact or the positive impact will be on the affective domain. That means that not understanding properly, that aspect of not understanding, if you are not in a position to understand any person, any instant, any situation, any topic, your anxiety will be increased. That leads to some sort of fear. Fear is the negative emotion. Then what happens? Due to not understanding of the proper topic, not understanding of proper subject, not understanding of the proper guidelines, that impact on your attitude, that impacts on your emotions, which leads to the other negatively activities, or you can say behavioral component. First component is the cognitive component, second is the affective component, third is the cognitive component, and you can say behavioral component. Means our activities. Cognitive means our activities. So here also, this is the main reason that why the emotions are developed. The development of emotions, these are the different stages of emotional development. Okay. And even types of emotions also. Some emotions are primary emotions. Primary emotions means primary human emotions types are one triggered in response to the one event. That example is anger. Secondary emotion types are the group of emotions that follows the type of emotion. For example, so due to this anger, you feel some sort of depending situations. Okay, so only fear, this fear leads to some sort of apprehension. Okay, so the one important, or you can say primary emotion leads to some sort of other emotion. Okay, so primary emotions may be anger, primary emotion may be fear, primary emotion may be sadness. That sadness, that anger, that fear leads some other type of secondary emotions. For example, some sort of emotion, that is primary emotion. That emotion leads to surprise, distraction, disturbing due to our fearness. These are the other types of emotion. The fearness, the fearfulness of first, secondary, first other emotion, or you can say primary emotion, leads some sort of other secondary emotions. What happens if you are in a fearful situation? You yourself disturb yourself. You will disturb. Your emotional situation may be disturbed. Your life activities will be disturbed. As I mentioned, your memory will be disturbed. Memory is not a emotion, but your fearfulness leads some sort of forgetfulness. The first primary emotion is fear, that leads some sort of concentration. You may not be in a position to concentrate much on any activity because of your primary emotion, that is fear. Even anger also. Anger leads some sort. Anger is a primary emotion. This anger leads some sort of secondary emotions like disturbance, distractive behavior, disturbed situations. These are all the other secondary emotions. So the first primary emotions leads some sort of secondary emotions. Any doubt? For example, the positive emotions that lead to one to feel good about oneself. The positive emotions, if you have positive emotions, you will feel safety, you will feel secure, you will feel comfortness. For example, if you are happy, if you are enjoyed with other fellow being in the group, automatically what happens? You will learn so many things from others. If you mingle with other members in the group, what happens? This type of enjoyment, this type of happiness, if you extend to others, if you share your experience of happiness and joyfulness, what happens? The other members in the group, the other members in the society also. So you feel comfort with the group members because of your positive emotions. So what I mean to say is there are some primary emotions, there are some secondary emotions. The primary emotion leads some sort of comfortness if it's a positive enjoyment, positive emotion to the other fellow members also. List of positive emotions include love, appreciation, happiness, hope, confidence, gratitude, trust. These are all the list of positive emotions, or you can say enjoyment of the primary emotion leads to these are the secondary emotions. The same way, negative emotions, list of negative emotions include fear, anger, guilt, depression, that is jealous, self-pity, anxiety. These are all the negative emotions. Your anxiety will be high based on your cognitive component. For example, after 1 week, maybe today is the Sunday. For example, after 3 days, if we or any one of us needs to write some examination or some faces some sort of interview, what happens? Only 2 days ahead to prepare for the examination or any interview. Already we know, for example, already person know, already individual know, after 10 days, I need to face some sort of interview or examination. He allotted only 1 day for his preparation of interview or examination. What happens? Right from beginning, 10 days, they give 10 days time, right from the beginning, right from the day one, if he or she prepares for the examination, study from the examination or interview, so the anxiety will be low because already they prepared well. That is the reason directly they will go and write the examination peacefully without any emotional disturbances. But if the candidate, if the person, if the student study only for one day before one day of the examination, what happens? He or she may not be in a position to understand the topic properly. Understanding means it comes under the cognitive component. So the cognitive component is in the negative aspect. That is the reason the impact of this not preparing the topic perfectly leads some sort of anxiety. So this is another example of negative emotion. They may be positive emotion or negative emotion. These negative emotions, especially negative emotions, adversely impacts on the learning process. It also negatively impacts on the memory and concentration also. Then next one is emotional intelligence. Nowadays, we know, nowadays we are all aware of IQ. IQ means
intelligent quotient.
Intelligent quotient, IQ. But what is EQ?
Emotional quotient.
Emotional quotient.
Quotient. See, our emotions. There are some we have some tools or tests of IQ. For IQ assessment, we have tools and tests. Okay, the same way, for example, DQ, if you want to find out the DQ of any child, developmental quotient, we have some assessment tools. IQ, DQ, SQ. The same way, EQ. EQ means emotional quotient. Another important tool also available that will be administering by your people also in our first year or second year practical examinations. EIS, Emotional Intelligence Scale. EIS, Emotional Intelligence Scale. So emotional intelligence scale or emotional quotient. So through this emotional quotient, what happens? The EQ means emotional quotient. How your emotional expression. Somebody see could Rakesh is some what is his doubt? Internship in the hospital. Somebody is sending some messages. What happens? All of you, please mute yourself, please. Kindly mute yourself.
వాడు రాగానే మనిషి వెళ్ళిపోతాడు అనుకుంటాడో ఏంటో తెలియదు ఓడి లోపలికి పనిలో ఉన్నాడు పనిలో ఉండి ఆగాడు
See, I think some of you are having some doubts related to our assignments. So after completion of my class, I will explain how to submit it in case of my subject. Okay. Yeah, here emotional, 5 domains of emotional intelligence. Number 1. So these emotional domains, these domains also known as the Goleman's emotional intelligence domain, or you can say 5 domains of Goleman, Golemen, Goleman's domains of intelligence quotient, or you can say, sorry, emotional quotient. First of all, the first important domain of EQ is knowing your emotions first, knowing yourself and knowing your emotions. What is introspection? Introspection means seeing our own self. We know the methods of psychology. First method of psychology is introspection method. Second is observation method. Third is experimental method. Fourth is case study method. Another one is the survey method. These are all the various methods of psychology. Psychology means it's a science, or you can say it's a behavioral science. So in this behavioral science, first method is introspection method. Introspection means seeing one's own self, introspecting ourselves. Here also, the first domain of emotional intelligence, EQ, the first domain is knowing your emotions. When you introspecting yourself, when you see into your own self, we will be in a position to identify your positives and negatives. The same way, we will be in a position to identify our emotions. So knowing your emotions, identifying your emotions, so that you will always try to be emotionally stable person if you identify, if you know the emotions of your own self. Knowing your emotions, it gives some sort of understanding about your emotions. If you know in what situation, in what environment, your emotions will be high and your emotional disturbance will be high. So if you see a situation, if you perceive a situation or environment, a person, some sort of emotional disturbances, if you find, so you can easily avoid that situation. For example, in our counseling process, maybe any other counseling process, anger management is one area of psychological counseling, how to manage the anger, that is known as the anger management. Generally, what we suggest, what we give the suggestions of the this anger management technique. One is identifying the emotions, means anger. In which situation the anger will be high, that we need to understand. Number 1. Number 2, deviate our mind when you are anger to some other situation, or you can say visualizing. You have to find out in which situation, which environment our anger will be high, our emotions will be high, your emotional disturbing situation is high. If you identify the emotions, if you know your emotion, in what situation your emotions are in disturbing state, your emotionally disturbed state, so that you will avoid that situation, you will avoid that person, you will avoid that environment if possible. Okay, identifying the emotions, knowing the emotions, so that you will understanding your emotions, so that you will avoid the situation which gives the emotional disturbance to the person. That is understanding the emotionality, knowing your emotion, knowing your emotion. For example, fearful situation. A student is having some sort of fearfulness on a particular subject, on a topic of any subject. What to do? He or she has to allot more time to study of that particular topic or subject. So first of all, if we understand, if we know our emotions, so that how to manage that emotion, how to manage that anger, how to manage that fearfulness, how to manage that anxiety, how to manage that depressive situation. Those things can be done. Number one, as I mentioned, knowing your emotions. Second is the managing your emotions. As I mentioned, managing of our anger management technique. In anger management technique, what we what we advise is, first of all, identify the anger. If it is morning time, if it is afternoon time, if it is evening time, or in the presence of any person, in the presence of any situation. So your anger is high. Those things we need to understand, identify. Management means better to avoid the situation, better to avoid that person, better to avoid that environment. If it is not possible to avoid that person, if it is not possible to avoid that situation, if it is not possible to avoid that environment, you will be there in that same environment, you will be there with that same person, but your mind will be deviated to some other extent. That is the another technique of anger management. Number three, visualizing some situation, visualizing some incident, because we are not in a position to avoid that situation. We are not in a position to avoid that person. So you will be there with that person, you will be there with that situation, you will be there in the same environment, but your mind will be somewhere. To avoid that situation. That is the managing your emotions. Third one is motivating yourself. That motivation may be internal motivation or external motivation. You need to motivate how to avoid the situation, how to manage the situation, how to manage your emotions. Motivating yourself, internal motivation. So for example, if you shows that anger, if you are disturbed with your emotional imbalancing state, what happens? What are the consequences to be faced? Those consequences you need to understand and you need to motivate yourself. That means internal if I do these things, if I use this word, what are the consequences I have to face? If I show this type of anger, so what are the situations, what are the consequences to be faced? If you motivate yourself, so there is a chance of managing the emotions. Another technique is that external motivation, by seeing the others, how they are motivated themselves, how they are showing their emotions, how they are emotionally stable. So this is nothing but external motivation. Okay, through the internal motivation or maybe external motivation, you can easily develop your emotional intelligence. These domains of emotional intelligence gives some sort of emotional quotient, the development of emotional quotient based on these domains. As I mentioned, first one is knowing our emotions, second is managing our emotions, third is motivating ourselves. Fourth one is recognizing and understanding others' emotions. As we know in our characteristics of emotion, emotions are universal. All individuals, or human beings, or maybe all living organisms have the emotions. So if we, as we are understanding our own emotions, same way we have to understand the others' emotions also. Recognizing and understanding the emotions of others. For example, if you are a family member, your sibling, or an emotional disturbed person in some situations, in some incidents. So if you know their emotions, if you understand their emotions, so that you will recognize, so in the particular situation, he will show that type of emotion. That is the reason you better to manage the emotional disturbances in that particular situation. So recognizing and understanding of others' emotions, or you can say empathical understanding of others' emotions. Empathy means understanding the person in their from their perspective. That is the empathical. So if you show this type of empathical understanding with others, definitely you will be in a position to manage the emotions so that EQ will be improved. Now, next one is managing relationship, that is managing the emotions of others. As you are aware of your emotion, if you are aware of your emotion, if you are in a position to manage the emotions, and you will understand the emotions of others, automatically you will be in a position to understand the emotions of others, and you will be in a position to manage the emotions of others also. Got it? So in emotional development, there are some other aspects we need to discuss. McDougall's concept of emotions as being part of an emotional instinctual process. According to the view, emotions were both innate patterns, innate. These are all hiding aspects. It is quite common in human being, according to the McDougall's concept of emotions. The development of emotions, according to the McDowell, is that it is an innate aspect. Even James also support the same view of McDougall's. Specific pattern of body's reactions. Each emotion, that emotions are innate aspects of humans or any living organism, according to this McDowell and James. Another development of emotion, other perspective of development of emotions is that John Watson's the leader of behaviorism. You know that John Watson. Who is John Watson? What is the full name of John Watson?
Leader of behaviorism, sir.
He is the father of behavior. Who is his follower?
Leader of behaviorism.
Another one. He is the father of behavior. Then other person also there, along with J.B. Watson.
Sigmund Freud.
Woodworth. Okay. So he is the father of behavior. Woodworth also follower of the J.B. Watson. So according to J.B. Watson, he believed that some basic emotional patterns which are found even in the infants also. Therefore, it is quite common right from beginning of our lifespan development. As the child grows, there may be chances of some emotional stability. In case of in initial stages of child, like infant stage, as we know, there are some stages of development: infant stage, pre-childhood stage, childhood stage, then adolescent stage, and so on. Right from beginning of our these stages. So Watson identified fear, anger, and love as three basic emotions in the infant stage. In this infant stage, according to the Watson, fear is the main source through the noise or any other sound systems. So this fear, love, and anger are the basic emotions according to the J.B. Watson, right from beginning of your lifespan, like infant stage. Okay, so this development of emotions will be stage wise from the starting stage. Okay, so development of emotions are, it depends on the stages of our human life. Okay, so finally the emotional quotient, how to improve the emotional quotient. So as I mentioned, emotional intelligence, or you can say emotional EQ, emotional quotient, is a relatively that is one type of behavioral model, depends on our these emotions, like how to identify the emotions of our own, how to manage the emotions, how to identify or understand the emotions of others, and how to manage the others through our empathical understanding. Okay, so here in this EQ, emotional quotient, if you want to improve the emotional quotient, if you want to improve the emotional stability, these are the some components you need to keep in mind, so that we need to manage our emotions and managing the other emotions also. Anything, any doubt? Before conclude this unit, if you have any doubts, you can ask. And other technique of managing the emotion, just you try to understand what are the sources of.
వాళ్ళు ఇక్కడే ఉంటారు, మిగతా వాళ్ళని చూపించదు అక్కడ. అలా చూపించాలి అంటే
So other one important technique is that ABC model. ABC model means these ABC model have different ways. One is A is activated event. Second is belief system. C is the consequence. If you believe by showing your emotional, the other persons will be controlled. That is your belief system. That is the reason you are showing your anger. If that is the case, so anger management is not possible by showing this type of behavior. In some case only this is possible, but in all situations this type of behavior may not be worked out. So we need to face so many consequences if you show this type of emotions. So by understanding your emotions, if you show those emotions, what are the consequences, that also you need to understand, so that you will be in a position to manage your emotion in a systematic way. You can show your emotions, but in a systematic way, in a right way, in an acceptable way of the society as other members in the group, so that emotional expressions, the way we show our emotion, it matters. Even our facial expressions also one type of signals will give to others, like non-verbal communication. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one is how there are some theories of emotions. Again, I'll sum up before sum up this 13th unit. I'll just recap. First one is that emotions. The emotions are common in any human being. The term emotion is derived from the Latin word which shows the stirred up state of person, which means stirred up state, elevated state, arousal state. Okay, there are three important components of emotion. One is cognitive component, second is physiological component, third is the behavioral component. The characteristics of that is emotion is that emotions are quite common. It is an universal aspect. Second is emotions are from birth to end of the life. It is quite common. Third is through the emotion, some sort of physical changes. Emotions lead some type of physical changes in humans or any organism. Emotions are accompanied by arousal state in the organism. Emotions are some impact on the memory process, learning, consciousness, and understanding. And emotions are the quality of displacement. You will show the emotion in a different way, that is displacement. As I mentioned, the Sigmund Freud's defense mechanism, there are some defense mechanisms of Sigmund Freud in the personality of any individual. In the defense mechanism, we will show the emotions in a different way, that is known as a displacement of one. Displacement is one important defense mechanism according to the Sigmund Freud. So the characteristic of emotion is that this is the emotions are the quality of displacement. For example, an angry reaction caused by a person may show on the other aspect. The anger of the person, the anger of the boss can find expression in the beating of the child at home. If the boss is having some emotional, or if the boss of your organization shows anger on you, what happens? The same anger, in some cases, they will show on their children. That is displacement of anger. So there is a quality of displacement in the emotion. So then there are some basic emotions like sadness, fear, anger, surprise, disgust. These are all the, even jealous, depression. These are all the negative emotions. Then positive emotions are love, joyfulness, sociability. We know that negative emotions are more than the positive emotions. Okay. Then emotional quotient, EQ. There are some 5 important domains of emotional intelligence or emotional intelligence quotient. These 5 domains are given by Goleman, G-O-L-E-M-N, Goleman. This Goleman identified the 5 domains of EQ, emotional quotient. First domain is knowing our emotions or understanding our emotions. Number 1. Number 2 is managing our emotions. Third one is motivation. Ourselves. Motivation is the other important component or domain of emotional intelligence. Okay. Fourth one is recognizing, understanding the others' emotions. Last one is managing the others' emotions. These are all some emotional quotient, or you can say emotional intelligence, domains or components of emotional intelligence. Okay. As we know, any psychological services, like counseling psychologist, education psychologist, maybe educational counseling, vocational counseling, family counseling, or any sort of counseling. The main psychological aspect you need to manage in the counseling process, emotions. Depending on the emotions only, many cases, psychological counseling mostly depending on the emotions of the person. Why the couple counseling? Why the family counseling means depending on the emotions. They'll come to you because of some issues of emotions. Why the education counseling means fear of some subject. Some issues related to the classroom management. Some issues related to the peer group. Some interpersonal issues related to the workplace. That is the reason occasional counseling. Maybe educational counseling, vocational counseling, family counseling, couple counseling, or counseling of the depression, counseling related to the anxiety, counseling related to the phobia case, counseling related to GAD. GAD means, what is GAD? Generalized
Anxiety disorder.
disorder. So, and here also anxiety. Anxiety is one emotion. Phobia. What is the emotion related to the phobia? Fearfulness. That is also one emotion here. Okay. Why the family counseling? In some cases, doubtfulness. That is also related to emotion. Maybe some emotions are the primary emotions, some are the secondary emotions. One way or other way, as a psychological professions, we need to deal with the emotion. Most of the cases in any type of psychological counseling related to emotions. Okay. Yeah. Next one. That is unit 14. Theories of emotions. Theories of emotions. The term feeling, mood, and emotions are difficult to define and even more difficult to understand completely. There are three terms. One is mood, second is feeling, third is the emotions. Emotions. So here we will be in a position to, so we in a confused state. But only you need to understanding is mood is the ordinary situation. Mood is only for a certain time. After that, we won't find in the particular situation only for limited period only you will be in a disturbed mood. But feelings also not a long time. Whereas emotions, these emotional state of any individual, that may be positive emotional state or negative emotional state, it will be for a long period of time. So that is the reason psychologists have attempted to define and explain emotional arousal state and the physiological conditions of this particular emotional states or emotional situations. Okay, here some theories of emotions, like one theory is that it is James Lund's theory of emotion. There are some theories of emotions, how the emotional arrangement or the arousal of emotions based on what situation, based on these aspects, there are some theories of emotions. One is James theory of emotion. In the James theory of emotion, one is the first stage of emotion is event, according to James. According to James Lane, event is the first stage of emotion, first step of or initial step of emotion. Okay. So next stage is arousal. Third is interpretation. Fourth is emotion. Event, according to James Lange, event is the first stage of emotion or first step of emotion. Second is the arousal.
Arousal.
Third is the interpretation. Fourth is the emotion. So I'll give one example. Your textbook also is given. You are walking down a dark late at night. You hear some footsteps behind you and you begin to tremble. That is the event here. You hear some sort of sound. That is the event here. Okay, by happening of this particular incident in the night time, what happens? Some sort of arousal situation in physiological aspect. That is, heart beats faster, breathing deepens. These are the arousal situations from the physiological aspect. The first stage, first step, first point is event, according to the James. Second is the arousal. Third is interpretation. How you interpret that event, how you interpret the situation. You notice these physiological changes and you interpret them as your body's preparation for a fearful situation. Something is going to be happen. That is your interpretation. That is our interpretation. First one is event. Second is arousal. Third is the interpretation. Then emotion. So then your emotion is fearfulness. Based on the event, some sort of physiological changes, that is arousal state. Third is the how we interpret that event and how we interpret that physiological changes, that is interpretation. Finally, your emotional state, that is fearfulness. So these are the 4 stages of James Lange theory of emotions. Then second one is Cannon's broad theory of emotions. Here in this theory, one is emotional involving event, emotion involving event. Second is bodily changes. Third is brain interprets the changes of your body, then your emotional state. So here in the example, same example, you are walking down a dark place late at night. You hear footsteps behind you and you begin to tremble. Your heart beats faster and your breathing deepens. At the same time, as these physiological changes occur, you also experience the emotion of that. Here, the brain identifies, according to the Cannon band theory of emotions. So here, brains, that is some sort of it is hormonal imbalance, you can say. Brain interprets the changes at emotional experience. So this type of experience, recognizing or acknowledging by brain, then emotion. The difference between the that is James and the Cannon is that, so interpretation is the third stage in the theory of James, whereas the brain, what are the reactions of the brain immediately with the emotions. That is the Cannon's theory of emotion. Then another theory is that cognitive theory of emotions, or you can say cognitive theory of emotion is that, as I mentioned in our previous topic also, cognition, how you interpret it, how you perceive, how you understand the situation, how you understand the person, that matters. That impacts on the emotions, affective domain. Okay, here in this theory of facial feedback theory, you are walking down a dark place, you hear footsteps behind you, and your eyes widen, your teeth clench, and your brain interprets these final facial changes as the expression of fear. That is the another theory. The theory is known as the facial feedback theory. Facial feedback. So this is, see, first one theory is James theory. In James theory, in James Lange theory of emotion, one is first instant is event, second is arousal, third is interpretation, fourth is the emotion. So event leads to arousal state. This event and arousal leads to some sort of interpretation, and then finally emotion, according to the James Lange. Then Cannon's theory, emotional involving an event. So emotion involving event. Already your emotional disturbed state, that is the reason emotion involving state or event. Then bodily changes. Then finally, brain interprets that some sort of emotion. It confirms the emotional disturbance. That is the third one. Then facial expression theory. So based on the facial expression, by interpreting that instant, so some sort of emotions. Then fourth one is cognitive. Cognition is another important aspect of our emotions. As I mentioned, initial state. Cognitive component leads the affective component, then our activities. Our activities means how you behave by understanding that particular incident, by understanding of the particular environment, by understanding the particular person. Then another theory is that event, arousal, reasoning, and emotion. Event, arousal, reasoning, or you can say logical understanding. Okay, in this theory of Sucher and Singer theory of event, arousal, reasoning, and emotion, first one is event, then arousal means physiological, psychological arousal, then reasoning. So we'll find some sort of logical understanding, logical thinking of that particular event and arousal. That leads to our emotional disturbance state. So these are the various theories of emotion. All these theories, the final state is the emotional disturbed state. Okay. Then what is the role of physiology in emotions? Role of physiological aspects in emotions. Okay. The first thing is that emotional processing and the brain. So in this physiological aspect, one is processing of and the brain, emotional processing in the brain. So the prefrontal cortex, these are the major organs, or you can say parts of the brain, which involves in the emotional disturbance state, or you can say emotional processing. One is the prefrontal cortex, the anterior cortex, that is the second one. These are the, then hippocampus. So these are all the some type of changes in our brain. Okay, then orbital, most of the medial front, then anterior part of our brain. So these are all the various parts of brain which processing our emotions, emotional processing, and the role of the brain. That is one physiological aspect. Then another one is that how the glands react, how the respiratory changes, how the physiological changes during emotions. So physiological changes, respiratory changes, then changes in the blood pressure and heart rate. These are all the various response, or you can say various changes in our body. Then neurological changes, neurological reactions. Then the emotional intensity and the state of arousal. If the emotions are continuously ruled us, so what happens totally is our body changes, other common bodily changes during emotion, like muscle tensions, weakness under trembling situations, dryness of mouth. Okay, these are all other important changes of our body based on the depending on the emotional disturbance state. So if you are continuously, constantly in emotional disturbed state, what happens? Slowly, our facial expressions, our other these thought process like the brain functionings and our neurological systems. So these are all slowly give some sort of the emotional disturbance state of humans or any other organism leads some type of adverse impact on total lifestyle of our humans. So that is the reason always we need to manage our emotions. We have to manage, we have to find out our emotions first. We need to understand our emotions. We need to understand the emotions of others. And finally, we need to manage our emotions and emotions of the others. Okay. Any doubts or clarifications?
Sir,
Any
difference
doubts
between the theories
related
of
to your theory? Tell me.
theories difference ఎట్లా vary చేసుకోవాలి సార్?
Please loudly ask your question.
థియరీస్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఎట్లా వ్యారీ చేసుకోవాలండి? మొత్తం థియరీస్ 5 థియరీస్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, 5 థియరీస్ లో కామన్ గా ఉన్నవి ఏంటి, లేనివి వేరియేషన్ తేడా ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఉంది?
Event is common in all events, all theories.
ఇమోషన్ ఇస్ కామన్.
Yes.
స్పెసిఫిక్ గా ఎక్కడ డిఫరెన్సియేషన్ ఉంది థియరీస్ లో?
See, in the first theory, like James theory, so here event, then arousal of our facial expressions.
Yes, sir.
And how you interpreted that facial expressions. It
Yes,
leads
sir.
to emotions.
సెకండ్ క్యానన్ థియరీలోనేమో అరౌజల్,
In
ఇమోషన్.
Karen theory, already you have emotion involving in the event. You already person of fearfulness.
Yes, yes, sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Then the remaining things are same in the that is Canon and the James. Then another one is that
కాగ్నిటివ్ లేబులింగ్ థియరీ.
facial expressions. Event, facial expression, only 3 aspects here, 3 stages here. Event,
Yes, sir.
facial expressions, then emotion.
Yes, sir.
Then fourth one is our basic need, basic thing. Basic thing is, as I mentioned, initial state of our behavior. The first, there are 3 domains of behavior. First one is cognitive domain.
Yes, yes, sir.
Second is affective domain. Third is
Yes, sir.
cognitive domain.
Yes, sir.
So cognition means thought process, how you perceive the situation,
Yes, sir.
how you understand the situation, what is your knowledge about that particular person, situation, or topic.
This cognitive labeling theory and cognitive appraisal theory variation, sir.
So here cognition means, see how you perceive the situation.
Yes, sir.
As I have already given one example also related to your assignments.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Some of you are very anxious how to submit the assignment. So if you understand the guidelines given by the university authorities, very clear guidelines are given. Clear-cut guidelines are given.
Yes. If we go through or follow the
Yes.
it will be very easy.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How you perceive the situation, how you
Yes, sir.
perceive the incident, how you perceive the environment.
Yes, yes, sir.
That understanding capabilities, that knowledge, that perception.
Good, sir.
Okay. That is,
Okay.
that is the reason. Repeat it and don't worry about your assignments. And one more thing I want to explain here is don't copy.
No, no, sir.
Some of your no, I'm not talking about your case. So
Oh, it's okay, sir. It's okay.
actually they wanted to help to other students. No, it's okay, good. But this issue, okay. Some of your telemedium students, I think I'll ready to explain.
Sir, we can take from Google, right?
See, actually, the ultimate aim of giving assignments is that so you need to refer some other books. That is the ultimate aim of giving the assignments.
Yeah, we can refer different sites from Google.
Okay, some of you are doing well. That's okay. I'm talking about those are some candidates, very few candidates. They are copying the copy paste. It gives some sort of adverse impact on your mark at your that is avoiding marks. Okay, definitely you will because see if yes, you know that I am the right from beginning of your course I am the person dealing with the subjects of your psychology, first year and second year. So yeah, generally we'll award the marks even up to out of 30, even 28 marks we are ready to award. We are ready to give. If we find any copy paste situation, copy paste cases, definitely that impact will be on your marks.
On our marks, sir.
Yes. Try to spend some time on referring some other books. The aim of giving the main objective of giving assignments, and we are allotting 30 marks. Nearly 1/3 of your total marks is allotting to your assignments. Nothing to worry. You have so many books to refer. I am talking about my subject only.
Sir, excuse me, sir, can you suggest some books names, sir, so that it will be helpful for us to refer?
Already suggested some books in your offline classes.
I didn't attend offline, sir. So,
Introduction to Psychology, or Introductory to Psychology, or Invitation to Psychology, and Invitation to Psychology. Okay. Then General Psychology by S.K. Mangal.
after general psychology, sir, what's the
An
other?
Introduction to Psychology,
Okay.
or an Invitation to Psychology. So now I already spoke to our administrators, but they clearly mentioned some guidelines. So you thoroughly please read the guidelines. Accordingly, you write the assignments and how to submit those assignments. There's already those guidelines already given. Or any doubt related to your assignment topics, I am ready to allot another 5 minutes. Already it's 11:25. Only we have 5 minutes time. So if we have any doubts related to your assignment, you can ask. Nothing to worry.
So we can refer from Google also, no, sir?
Why not?
Oh, thank you.
Sir, namaste, sir.
Namaste.
In Google, we are getting only simple 2 lines answers only, sir. For if we are for some answers, we are not getting, sir. In first assignment, it's very easy to find, sir, but in second assignment, it is difficult. Some questions are, means some answers are not getting, sir, for me.
Madam, in each topic, after completion of each unit of your subject, for example, I am talking about this one, that is our topic, like our principles of psychology. After each unit, reference books are mentioned. No? Why don't you go to that reference book? It's mentioned each unit. You just go through your test material.
Pardon, sir, means I didn't get you. Actually, they gave some 4 textbooks, na, sir.
Please.
Like,
what I am telling is, for example, after 13th unit, reference books are mentioned, no? After each unit.
Reference books. Okay.
Yeah, it's mentioned.
Sir, from where do you get that book, sir?
So how to get that books? No need of all books. At least 1 or 2 books. Nearly I think it's nearly 40 to 50 books are mentioned here. Total.
Sir, good morning, Andy. Hello.
Reference books are mentioned here. Already I told you some books are available in the market. My sincere advice is that you refer any book, but the same, for example, same answers are repeated. For example, if you are the evaluator, because some of you are lecturers, some of you are teachers, some of you are in the educational background, that is educational teaching line. If you find any same type of questions from your students, what you will?
Okay, sir.
Just try to understand what I am explaining.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What you are telling to?
Yes, some.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు తెలుగు మీడియం స్టూడెంట్స్ కి కొంచెం బాగా అర్థమయ్యేలాగా ఏమైనా మీ వీడియోస్ ఏమైనా ఉంటాయి సార్?
నా వీడియోస్ ఉంటాయి కదా, ఆల్రెడీ ఉన్నాయి కదా. ఇప్పుడు ఎక్కడ గో త్రూ దట్ BRO సైట్ లో ఉన్నాయి కదా. ఎందుకంటే నావే ఇక్కడ చాలా మంది ఉన్నాయి. తెలుగు మీడియం ఉన్నాయి, ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం ఉంది.
ఓకే సార్,
ఉన్నాయి కదా.
అది అంటే BRO సైట్ లో సెర్చ్ చేసి చూడాలి సార్ అవి.
నావి ఉన్నాయి వేరే. అంటే నేను తెలుగు మీడియం చెప్పింది తక్కువ, నేను తెలుగు మీడియం చెప్పింది ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం. ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ తెలుగు మీడియం బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్, యు హావ్ సమ్ అదర్ సోర్స్ ఆఫ్
సబ్జెక్ట్ అర్థం అవడానికి తెలుగు మీడియం వీడియోస్ అయితే బాగుంటుందని నా అభిప్రాయం సార్. అందు గురించి
యూజీ ఇంకొక విషయం, డిఫరెన్స్ బుక్స్ అంటే ఓన్లీ PG చేయని అవసరం లేదు కదా, యూజీ బుక్స్ కూడా ఉంటాయి కదా. మీకు ఎనీ లైబ్రరీ యూజీ బుక్స్ ఆర్ అవైలబుల్ ఉన్నాయి కదా. యూజీ బుక్స్ అని అంటే అండర్ గ్రాడ్యుయేట్ బుక్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అంటే గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ బుక్స్ ఉన్నాయి, నేను రాసిన బుక్స్ ఉన్నాయి యూనివర్సిటీకి, తెలుగు మీడియం బుక్స్ ఉన్నాయి.
అంటే మాకు ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ తెలుగుతో ఉండేలాగా మంచి మంచి ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ తోటి ఏదైనా కాన్సెప్ట్స్ వివరించేలాగా ఏమైనా వీడియోస్ ఉంటే బాగుంటుంది సార్.
నేనేమంటున్నానంటే
మీరు ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు ఇందాక థియరీస్ కి కొన్ని ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పారు కదా సార్ మీరు టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో అవి, అటువంటివి మీరు మీ అనుభవంలో ఉన్నటువంటి కొన్ని ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ చెప్తే మాకు బాగా అర్థం అవుతుంది.
యూనివర్సిటీ లైబ్రరీలో కానీ, ఎనీ యూనివర్సిటీ లైబ్రరీ ఎక్కడైనా కానీ లైబ్రరీలో కానీ, లేకుంటే మీరే మన బుక్స్ తీసుకుంటే మన దాంట్లో కూడా సైట్స్ వస్తే తెలుగు మీడియం అనుకుందాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ లో తెలుగు మీడియం ఉంది కదా యూనివర్సిటీలో, ఉంది కదా. ఆ గ్రాడ్యుయేట్ తెలుగు మీడియం సంబంధించి కొంతమంది ఫ్యాకల్టీ మెంబర్స్, అంటే నేను గ్రాడ్యుయేట్స్ చెప్తుంది, నేను PG చెప్తాను, కొంతమంది ఫ్యాకల్టీ మెంబర్స్ ఆల్రెడీ తెలుగులో చేసిన వీడియోస్ ఉన్నాయి మన.
ఓకే సార్, ఓకే,
సరిపోతుంది ఆ టాపిక్ సార్. అంటే నేను ఇక్కడ మిమ్మల్ని నేను ఇబ్బంది పెట్టడం కాకుండా నేనేం చెప్తానంటే, నేను మీకేం చెప్తాను, కొంతమంది ఏం చేస్తున్నారంటే ఇక్కడ సమ్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ స్టూడెంట్స్ వాళ్ళు పేజెస్ ని ఏమంటున్నారని ఫోటో తీసి ఈ టాపిక్ వాళ్ళ దగ్గర ఉందని చెప్తున్నారు కదా. ఇది మీరు రికార్డెడ్ గా ఈ టాపిక్ వాళ్ళ దగ్గర నుంచి తీసుకొని రాయడానికి ఫ్యాకల్టీ మెంబర్స్ మేమేం చేస్తాం చెప్పండి, ఏం చేయాలి? వాడింగ్ ఆఫ్ ద మార్క్స్.
ఇది కొన్ని ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఉంది அந்த மாமன் கிட்ட பேசுங்க பப்ளிக்லி மாமன் கிட்ட பேசுங்க அவங்க மாமன் கிட்ட யார் பேசுங்க நீங்க
ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ సార్.
ఎస్
సార్, ఇప్పుడు ఆయన సజెస్ట్ చేసినట్టు క్లాసెస్ తెలుగులో తీసుకున్నా కూడా ప్రాబ్లం ఉండదేమో కదా సార్? అంటే మాకు అందరికి ఈజీగా అర్థం అవుతుంది కదా.
వాంట్ మీ టు గివ్ సమ్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ తెలుగు మీడియం, I'm ready to give, no problem. But total Telugu medium is not possible.
Means some words
psychology is the English medium is the instructions of the psychology, PG psychology.
Yes, sir. But means we can understand easily, no, sir. Some people are from a Telugu medium background. Some people are from English medium background. But everybody can understand the Telugu, no, sir.
But
That's
here
why.
the medium of instructions in the PG psychology is English medium only.
Sir, I cannot understand Telugu,
For
please.
your understanding, నేను మధ్యలో చెప్పమని చెప్తాను.
చెప్పండి సార్, అలా చెప్తే కొంచెం అంటే ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ అనిపిస్తది కదా అని. కొంచెం అంటే ఇప్పుడు కొన్ని టర్మ్స్ అంటే కొన్ని వర్డ్స్ మనకి కొంచెం ఇంగ్లీష్ లో కూడా అంత ఫ్లూయెన్సీగా ఉండేవి కదా సార్. అందుకు కొంచెం అలాగా మీరు టచ్ చేస్తుంటే మాకు కూడా కొంచెం ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ గా కూడా అనిపిస్తుంది. ఇందాక ఒక ఆయన అన్నట్టు కొంచెం
Again I'm telling, see, some few students are from Telugu medium.
பையனுக்கு ஆட்டையில இதுதான் என்னது எங்க கண்ணுக்கே சொல்லிட்டு பையன்
But
எனக்கு எதுவுமே ₹1 போட வேண்டாம் அந்த பொண்ணவே அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கூட சொல்லியிருந்தான். தேவையில்ல அவங்க வீட்டுல இருந்து எனக்கு ஒரு பொருள் தேவையில்லைன்னு கேட்டு.
ஹலோ,
வேணான்னு சொன்னல அன்னைக்கு பாஸ் முன்ன சொன்னலாமே.
Please mute
எனக்கு எதுவும்
yourself.
வேண்டாம்
Pavitra.
சொன்னாங்க.
Pavitra, please mute yourself.
Can you please put your
But most
அத பத்தி ஒண்ணு பேசல. அத பத்தி
Sir, మీరు mute చేయండి సార్ అందరిని.
இங்க ஒண்ணு பேசலாம்.
మ్యూట్ చేసేయండి సార్.
ఆల్రెడీ எல்லாமே பேசலாம். அந்த பையன் வந்து உங்ககிட்ட எதுவுமே எதிர்பார்க்கக்கூடாது.
సార్ మీరు అందరికి మ్యూట్ చేయొచ్చు సార్, అందరికి మ్యూట్ చేసేయండి మీరు.
okay.
Yes sir.
నేను ట్రై చేస్తాను మీకు కొంతమంది తెలుగు మీడియం వాళ్ళకి ట్రై, బట్ అవర్ మీడియం ఆఫ్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ ఓన్లీ ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్. పీజీ సైకాలజీ ఇంగ్లీష్ లో ఉంటుంది. బట్ ఇన్ సమ్ కేసెస్ ఐ ట్రై టు
எத்தனை லட்சம் எடுத்து பண்ற பண்ணுவோம். கவர்மெண்ட் எம்ப்ளாயே பாஸ் பண்றோம் பாரு பண்ணு.
Sir,
yes.
his classes are daily. His classes are daily, sir.
It's not daily class. It's mentioned in your the timetable is given, na? Every Saturday, Sunday.
Only Saturday, Sunday. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Sir, is that okay if we take the assignment
Pari,
content from our textbook?
No. Again,
நீ பண்ணு நான் சொல்றேன்.
please follow the guidelines.
தெரியாது. ஒரு accept ஒரு rejection என்ன accept பண்ணிக்க முடியுது. நானும் பொண்ணு தான். எத்தனை accept பண்ணிக்கிட்டேன் நானே.
Sir, can we refer our
And one more,
for writing assignments?
any of you are from special education background?
Yes sir, I am a special educator, Sheetal.
You are working somewhere?
Yes sir, I am working in a school, inclusive school.
Okay. Anyone from your friends or any group? One vacancy, please.
நல்லா பண்றீங்க prayer.
Sir?
Okay, contact me.
Okay sir, I will call you. I have your number. If you remember, I met you in Nipit, sir.
Okay. Right.
I will call
பாரு
you.
நல்ல பையனே பாரு. நல்ல ஜாப் பண்ற பையனே பாரு. நல்ல கவர்மெண்ட் எம்ப்ளாயே பாரு. எல்லாம் அவங்க எம்ட் கேட்ட எம்ட் டிமாண்ட் பண்ண எல்லாம் போடு.
Pavitra, please mute yourself.
எதுவும் வைக்க கூடாது, அந்த கஷ்டம் வைக்க கூடாது, பீஸ்ஃபுல்லா போய்க்கலாம். நானே எதுவும் ஆனான்னு சொல்லிட்டு கேக்குற பையனவே நானே எங்க மேடமா கிட்ட பாக்க வச்சு சொல்லி அவங்க அந்த அம்மா எடுத்து போய் ப்ரொஃபைல் சர்ச்ல கொடுத்து பாத்து இது பண்ண లవ్ మ్యారేజ్ మ్యారేజ్
అసలు వాళ్ళకి తెలియట్లేదు, వాళ్ళు మ్యూట్ లేదని మాట్లాడుతూనే ఉన్నారు.
తను మాట్లాడుతూనే ఉంది తను.
అదే
Anything else?
Sir, can we refer from our UG book, sir?
Yeah, you can refer. UG.
Sir, a small doubt, sir.
Yes.
Sir, how much marks will get in for assignment?
That's what I already told you.
Suppose there are the small answers also there.
Up to 28, even 29 also, based on your performance, based on your writings.
Okay, sir. There are so many small answers are there, but not elaborate answers. Then we have given 5 marks for each question, na? So that we have written some extent so elaborately. But is it correct or small questions? What you have asked small questions, na? Then we get full marks or some.
Yeah, full marks. Whatever the questions you need to answer. Some
Okay,
of you
sir.
asking my number. My number you just note down 98852 98852 6818. For all it is given in your
Sir,
timetable.
9885.
My number is given in your timetable. Mentioned my number also mentioned your timetable. To go through
Okay,
that.
sir.
98852 68184.
One sec, sir. One sec. Can you please pardon, sir? 9885
2
2
68184.
68184.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. 9885 68184. Your good name, sir?
It's mentioned in your. It's Vijay Raj. It's mentioned in that, no? PV Raj.
PV Rajesh.
Your timetable is mentioned clearly. Phone numbers, timings, everything is mentioned. So go through your timetable.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Namaste, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, in next Saturday, which lesson you are going to complete, sir?
Topic.
Is
Next,
it-
next block. 15th
Hello?
unit. 15th unit on learning and remembering. 15th unit.
Learning.
Block.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay. Right.
Okay. Thank you so much. Nice.
Sir,
Yes, yes.
will there be any other classes today, sir?
I don't know. You just. I think we have timetable is yesterday.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't gone through the timetable. That's why I'm asking. Sorry for the.
Yes. Continuous class will be there till 5 o'clock.
Okay.
It's the
Okay,
first
sir.
class, no? 10 to 11:30. Again 11:30. Already 11:35. Some other class will ready to take the class. They'll take the class.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right.
We have to continue, leave or we have to continue like this only, sir?
Yeah.
We have to leave this group or we have to...
You need to continue, no? That is madam, timetable is given, no? It is clear cut timetable is mentioned in your application.
Okay, sir. Means till now we've attended the offline only, no? This is the first class of mine, sir.
Yesterday,
That's why I'm asking.
online class are started. 10 to 11:30 is my class.
Okay.
And after that, second paper, then third paper, fourth paper, like that.
Okay, like this only in this same group we have to continue, no, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Then thank you, sir.
For each faculty member, that link also sent to you.
Okay, sir.
Sir, is there any process of taking attendance, sir?
It's already it is. They'll take the attendance, no? If you are attending the online class, automatically the attendance will be taken by the authorities.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Definitely they will take that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Hello. 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 Hello.